Happy Thursday. Today is June 27th, 2024. This is John McEntyre Show Live. I'm John McEntyre. And before we get started, I just want to say happy National Sunglasses Day. It would be an overcast outside today with being National Sunglasses Day. But it's sunny in other places. It's still hot here. It's just not sunny. Um, but just a little something to make sure you're out there paying attention and everything. So, like I was saying, well, we have a good show today. Very a sensitive topic. Had a question to come in, and doing my research, I was like, "Oh yes, this is a sensitive one here." But before we get started with that, the routine. Start off with some wallet wins to get the show going, get everybody in a positive state here. And wallet win number one is I made my last car payment, and it's like 1,000 exclamation points behind it. So yeah, they're very excited, and I can feel their excitement. It's nothing like a paid for car. Um, People always do those vanity plates, put them on the back of their car. Said the one I want to put on every car is paid for. Different ways. PAID, the number four, PAYED, four, all of that. You know, uh, PAIDFO, paid for, depends on where you're coming from, from deep south or whatever. All right, I just got a signal, get serious. So yeah, so last car was paid, made my last car payment. While win number two, I found a cheaper apartment closer to work. That's a good wallet win, once you think about it, because especially here in Charlotte, Charlotte was voted one of the most car dependent cities. So even people, they're not even going far. They just depend on their car so much. One thing I learned, when we lived actually downtown Charlotte. Uh, we almost didn't need two cars. It was almost to the point to where we needed and saved a lot of money. I mean, think about it: less gas, maintenance on the car, things like that. That really adds up quickly. Um, and so you can tell the people that actually had moved to the area, from cities, from the city core. They were used to walking everywhere, and I've heard it plenty of times. People drive, in this area and in some of the other areas I've lived in, they drive for everything. I mean, it's even gotten to the point now in the neighborhood have, the community pool and everything. Now people are renting golf carts so they can just drive from their house to the pool house, to the pool, and it's not even some of them. It's not even the equivalent of a block, and I'm like, so it's gotten to the point to where now you have to drive to the pool in your neighborhood. You have to drive to the neighborhood pool, and so that's a big one. Once you think about it, number one, a cheaper apartment. So yeah, one of your largest expenses just got cheaper and closer to work. So this person, they seem very excited. So that is a wallet win. And the third one, a nice one, received my settlement from a lawsuit and have paid all debts, including the house. So yeah, that's I don't know, that's vacation time there. Paid off the house. You don't have to pay a house payment anymore. Yeah, I'm doing like a hip hop video style cruise. I'm fighting everyone. I'm having rappers and everybody on that. No, I'm just kidding. Let me move forward. But yeah, that's something to celebrate. I know I do have a plan to, we're planning to build a dream house, our dream house. But if I thought about that, I was like, I don't know if I paid the mortgage off, I might be sort of slow to make that move. With a paid for car, paid for house. You put the plate on the front. My address is no longer numbers; it's paid for, and my street name. Okay, yeah, but that is a serious wallet win. All right, so I kept it light because now we getting into the question here. It can be sensitive. And this particular person, they sent in, and I paraphrased it on, for the show, but it's basically saying I am 59 and I don't have much in savings and I don't have anything in investments. My only option at retirement is to move in with my only daughter and her family. And I need some advice on how to handle this situation. So, yeah, so you can see how sensitive that can be. I saw read a study by Prudential, and basically was saying it was an alarm, basically to really wake people up. And I was like, okay, that is something that's very important here on the show. uh, Retirement planning, that's one of the big ones. You know, basically, while you're handling money through life, it is to actually have a safe and secure and comfortable retirement eventually, because your working years are over. You're no longer working, and so you should have things set up to where, whether or not you work, your money is still working for you, and that is the objective. Um, and the alarming rate is that people with less than 10 years to go before retirement, they're seriously unprepared for it. I mean, it's like, it's in a critical state now that people aren't prepared, with less than 10 years, 55 and up, they're like critically unprepared for retirement. And this study showed that, says that 67% of 55-year-olds surveyed said they fear they will outlive their savings. So almost 7 out of 10, are fearing out, that they fear that they will be outliving their savings. And that's compared to 59% of the 65-year-olds and 52% of 75-year-olds. So you can see that is alarming. Um, they have, and it also, the study shows they have less than 50,000 in median retirement savings. Um, and that's very alarming because, with age comes other, can come some other issues, especially, the state of, especially in America, health on the decline, so many health issues, um, high blood pressure, diabetes. Those are the big ones. The heart issues. So those are the big ones, and those are expensive. The medication expense is expensive, and healthcare is expensive, and so it takes a lot of money to be prepared. And now that I've talked to a lot of retirees, and their figures, 50,000 is not even a year's worth of care for them. From the conversations that we've personally had with retirees, um, it's just it's just expensive, and trying to have the lifestyle, because most people, they don't want to downsize their lifestyle. I asked that question yesterday. That was the question of the day. Do you plan on having an increasing lifestyle or a decreasing lifestyle? Well, most said increasing, but then they said, but the reality is it'll probably be decreasing. I hope to have an increasing, but the reality, it probably will be decreasing. And so that's something to really to wake up to. And okay, well, it won't just happen. It doesn't happen by accident unless you like win the lottery or receive a windfall of money. Outside of that, you have to plan for it. You have to take the income that you're receiving and put it to work to make that happen. And so these people are saying, according to this report, the median, retirement saving is 50,000, and it has coined a new term. What basically what it said is that because of that, more parents are planning to move back in with their children, and they've coined a new term, silver squatters. And basically, what I think it came from the Medicare, in the Medicare plans. What is the plan to pay for gym membership? Silver sneakers. Uh, They said, okay, you have the silver sneakers. These and some of these silver sneakers, the ones wearing the silver sneakers are silver squatters. Will soon be silver squatters, and that means that they will be forced to rely on their family for the housing and financial support. Um, and the study also found that they expect that 24% of the 55-year-olds surveyed said they expect family to provide support in retirement, which is twice the proportion of current 65 and 75-year-olds who said the same. Uh, and nearly half of those 55-year-olds, they haven't even discussed it with the family, and that's what it sounds like here with this particular situation. Sounds like reading this. I mean, I can only imagine probably the stress that they're probably feeling, the anxiety of how can I handle this situation. Well, I want to offer some pointers here that will put it into a we're gonna put it into a positive light here and come up with a strategy, and hopefully this will help others who may be looking down less than 10 years to retirement, because what at the Social Security, be able to take Social Security now, it went from 65 to 67. So that means really you have what's 8 years to really plan this. So my first tip would be, let's talk to the daughter now. Let's just start communicating it now. Let's have those discussions, because what I found, and this is, we have a lot of friends, family, clients, um, that are in this situation, um, and the ones that are positive, the earlier the communication happened, the more positive the outcome was. And for example, one, uh, the mother, she was widowed, and she put it off, put it off, but then she just got to the point to where she just decided to have the conversation, not knowing that the kids was thinking about it anyway. They just, she didn't want to go to them, they didn't want to come to her about it. And so when she made the first move, they was like, well, we've been thinking about this for a couple of years anyway. Um, just so happened this particular situation, that the kids, they were, one was a doctor, and so it was a high income family, and they had a lot of discretionary income, and they was like, so mom, you get to keep all of your income. It's going to give us peace of mind knowing that you're close to us. And because at first she was living almost 2 hours away, and so they were sort of having anxiety, like, what if something happened? Each time something happened, and they were actually the closest kids. The other ones was like an extra 45 minutes away. So they was like, if something happens, you're 2 hours away on a good day. And with this traffic, and having to make arrangements, that could easily be a three hour ordeal or something like that, where this way we know that you're close and we can respond much quicker. So that was a very positive one. Another positive situation, the conversation, we working with a family, and they knew that they needed to have this conversation, and the kids was like, well, we hadn't thought about it, because it's not that we didn't want to, because basically they just wanted mom to live forever. They wanted dad to live forever, and they just didn't want to think about those types of things. They didn't want to think about them ever getting sick and all of this. But because of once the conversation started to happen, then everyone, it became positive, and everyone started to like really put together a strategy, and was like, this is about love. This is a love conversation here. Number one, this is a love conversation. Then it's financial, but this is about love. And they, made some agreements, because a lot of those parents, especially at that retirement age, they're independent. they've lived on their own. They've had their own house. This is the house the kids left, and so it's like a total shift in the mindset of when you left, I thought, you would be out on your own and I've done my job. And now, a visit, all of this. I never thought that this day would come. And they were like, well, it's here. We're not going to worry about it. And as before I move forward, some cultures, that's just what they do. And, a lot of cultures, now that we live in a diverse community, and it just happens at a certain age, the parents, they sell everything and move in with the kids. Some of them, they like their freedom, so they're like, no, I'm not going to sell everything and move in with you. And so it's an opposite conversation. Like, but we're going to start a new thing. We don't need it. We know we're healthy. We have our finances in order, so we're good. Appreciate it. We love the fact that we're loved so much that you will welcome us to the home. But we're good. This particular situation, she knows this is her only option. So let's start the conversation now. And before you even do that, put a plan together. Put all your sources of income that you will have. You have Social Security, and you will have a little bit of savings and everything, because the two big ones are housing and healthcare. So you have that part. Let's get your finances in order. What you will have to work with, how you're going to take care of healthcare, because Social Security, so Medicare will be kicking in. So that's how we can look at the healthcare. Now we have to take care of housing. Some of the people that we have talked with, clients and friends, hopefully this person is healthy. So if they are healthy, plan on how you will contribute. Will you contribute financially? Will you contribute, help? Because that's not, this is the younger, it's not like the younger generations have it perfect with their finances either. So a lot of times they're needing the help of their parents with like childcare and, transporting the kids. We see that a lot. A lot, where the grandmother, grandfather taking kids. I'm at the gym sometimes, and the older ones, the seniors, they were like, well, let me get out of here. I gotta go get the grandkids from school and get them to practice and things like that. And it's basically their way of contributing. So that is a good way. The other plan is, will you still work part of your income? Because if you're healthy, you can keep working a little bit longer. That'd be a way of, contributing. But sit down and have the conversation, because sometimes maybe working, they may, the kids may say, and I've heard this plenty of times, no, you don't really need to work, because it would be more helpful if you helped us with the kids than actually working. But you don't know until the conversation happens. That's why I'm throwing all of these out here, what we've seen. You don't know until you start talking about it. And that's the main thing. Get into the mindset of how I can contribute. Will it be, we will, I can contribute some financially. I can help out financially, or I can help out housekeeping. If both kids are working outside the home, housekeeping. I know if I had a parent that was living with me, housekeeping, oh man, that one would be huge. And also just being the grandparent, being around the kids. That's big too, because in other cultures, that's one of the main reasons they want the grandparents, the older generation, to be with the younger generation, to share wisdom and guidance, be another voice of reason. Because I've had some of the friends say, they, kids won't listen to me, but they'll listen to grandma all day long. Grandma says something, it's like the gospel. I say it, it's like I'm lying, like I don't know what I'm talking about, like I never lived, like I was never a teenager, or I was never 10 or whatever. Grandparents, They say it and they take it. So just get yourself in the mindset of how can this be a positive? And you come with a plan and you start talking, and then that's how you say it. I'm concerned about this, and I want to talk about this, and I put down a plan, and I want you to help me look at this plan, make sure that it's solid, and am I looking at it the right way? And you show me how I can be a help and everything if we decide to move in this direction. So get into a positive frame of mind. Have your resources. Be open and honest about your resources, and mainly pull in. Sometimes we've been pulled in plenty of time to almost like mediate these types of conversations. Just pull it all together and come up with a plan, and everyone's happy. And we can get back to love, reduce the anxiety of mom. We don't want mom, having a lot of anxieties, wondering if she's going to have a place to stay, because that's a valid concern. I mean, that's a valid fear. No one wants to end up homeless or, even thinking in that way. And I share, my family, we discussed that years and years and years ago. It's just been discussed, and the decisions has been made. No one in this family will ever be hungry or homeless or cold or or anything. Um, it's just not going to happen. you know, and that happened through series of conversations before, my mom passed away. We we had the conversation with her. She wanted to be as independent and stay in her house as long as she could. But we she her decision was, well, which one will I go stay with? Because I've been invited to all of them house. And so which one? And that took a big load off of her mind, just knowing that she didn't have to really be concerned about that. So just take that take that in consideration to move forward. Uh, and I know that there's plenty out there that has had this thought. Give us a call. We'll be more than happy to assist with those types of conversations, put together the plan, and then move forward with it. Uh, it might be, that this is mid year, good time. Hey, I was looking at everything, looking at mid year finances, and this concern came up. So can we all just sit down and talk? And if we can't talk together, we can call John McEntyre or Andrea, one of them, and we can all talk. We can talk by Zoom. We can talk, by phone. However, we don't even have to be in the same room. We can all have the conversation. So I hope that was helpful, and I wanted to answer it to ease up the tension, ease the mind, put the mind at ease, and put the mind in planning mode now. So before I go, that brings up the question of the day, which is, have you had the retirement conversation with your parents or parents? And parents, have you had the conversation with your kids? So basically, the question of the day, have you had that life after retirement conversation with someone? So if you need any assistance, our contact information is on the screen. Tune in tomorrow. I'll be here same time. This is John McEntyre signing off.